there everybody, this is Caitlin here, aka Scribble Sketch, and today we are here for Card Game Wednesday, the day of the week where we discuss all things card game related. Now, this is something that I was actually thinking of making a video about for a couple of weeks now, actually, since we've kind of gotten started into New Valhalla and whatnot, and I've been kind of speculating this within my own head, so I thought might as well make a video about it and try and get my thoughts out to you guys. This was actually kind of, well, the idea was reignited now by the person who commented on my video last week. I believe their name is, I'm going to maybe butcher this pronunciation, so I am very sorry if I get this wrong. I believe their name was Mario Lazaridis or Lazariadis. I'm not quite sure how you say that. I'm very apologise if I get that wrong. But they brought up a good point when I was talking about the old resonators or the old characters coming back and whatnot. And they made the point where possibly two-coloured cards or dual-coloured cards could make a return in this set. And it would be an opportunity to reprint the Jewel Stones. So that's pretty much what the discussion is for today, is talking about whether or not we will see a reprint of the Jewel Stones within New Valhalla cluster. Now, I can see there being kind of support for it and support against it, but I feel like just looking at the evidence as to what we've received actually helps us give an idea as to whether or not this is actually going to happen. Now, I personally think that there will definitely not be any kind of Jewel Stone reprint within the New Valhalla cluster. Now, why exactly do I say this? Well, the main reason I think this is because of the 10 starter deck rulers that we end up getting. We got 2 for each element, 2 for each will color, essentially. And none of those are, and within their own archetypes, have different colours from what they are. It wouldn't make much sense for me personally for them to make dual coloured stones or dual coloured cards, or rather, if most of the rulers here that we have are basically designed to be mono rulers. It also makes sense when you think about chants / runes. You can only play a normal chant if it is the same colour as your ruler. You can play a chant / rune of any colour as long as you have the specific will cost to play it. But most of all, I think when you look at the archetypes, or rather the resonant archetypes of each of the different rulers, so you've got machines, you've got fairy tales, you've got the Valkyries and the angels and everything, they all fall within one specific colour, and there doesn't seem to be much cross colours going on here. Like, before, fairy tales could pretty much be almost any colour because Milliam and Grimm could filter for those specific colours, but since Loki is specifically blue, it wouldn't make much sense for Loki to then suddenly have different coloured resonators within their deck. It just doesn't make much sense to me. Also, I know that some people were saying, oh, well, it makes sense that they would reprint new Jewel Stones within New Valhalla, because at this point, Rhea Cluster only has the kind of limited Jewel Colour Stones, where the ones that are basically tied to, not exactly tied to a ruler, but they have conditions, so you don't get the second colour for free. You have to pay some kind of cost, like, for instance, Emul's One of Despair, you only get access to the 2 colours once the stone flips, or for Scarlet's one, I believe you have to take 100 damage in order to access the other colour. I can't remember what Shahrazad's did. I think it was something similar or something like that, but I can't remember exactly what the colour, what the trigger for it was. It's been a while since I've actually looked at her stone. But yeah, basically there's no other Jewel Stones right now in the format other than those ones. So people are saying, well, it makes sense because since the last cluster that had Jewel Stones rotated out, it would make sense that they would be printed in this cluster. But I don't think that's the case. And one of the main reasons why I definitely think there's evidence where they won't get reprinted is because when the Jewel Stones got reprinted in Lapis cluster, they were reprinted as part of the first set. They were printed as part of CFC, the Curse of the Frozen Casket and whatnot. We saw no Jewel Stones within the first set of New Valhalla, which was New Dawn Rises, and I think that's a clear indication as to the fact that we are not going to be getting any more of them. I feel like if they were going to reprint them, they would reprint them in the first set and, you know, like, spoil the surprise, like, hey ho guys, we are back with the dual colour. And I think that it means that if we don't reprint them, it gives us a bit more of a challenge, and it helps us, like, work up new strategies and whatnot. I definitely see it that we're going to be working within the archetypes with the colours. Definitely, like, I don't see them straying so far from this formula, at least for New Valhalla. So, like, for instance, people were saying perhaps the new Alice would be a dual-coloured resonator, and that way she could work in for a variety of different decks. But I can see the new Alice either, I think she's going to be specifically a fairy tale, and therefore she'll fall into Loki's deck, or perhaps she will fall into something else and it will be a different colour. I'm not quite sure what other colours she could be. I mean, she has been a variety of different colours in terms of past sets and everything, but trying to think of any other kind of archetype she would fit into, because Atom has already got his work cut out with him with were-rabbits and different kinds of creatures. And then the Valkyries have like Valkyries, obviously, and humans. And I think Atom also has access to angels, if I remember correctly. So Atom and Brunhild rather, already have their work cut out for them in terms of different resonator types. And then you've always got machines are going to probably stick with machines. Hanzo has got yokai and ninja cats, obviously. What other ones are there? The Kunlun one, that one's got dragons, that one's got all kinds of soldiers or beasts and tigers and stuff like that. So I feel like if they were going to do dual-coloured resonators, it really wouldn't fit within the theming of this cluster. I could be totally wrong. I mean, it's going to be a little while at least until we get some kind of spoilers, because the set isn't coming out until next January, obviously. So we've got a long time to wait in terms of whether or not we're going to be seeing any kind of dual-coloured cards within the set. If anything, I would think that maybe the most likely thing to make a return is Void cards. I feel like, specifically, Void could make a return, because then you could splash those in any kind of deck, and that way you wouldn't have to worry about colour fixing. I feel like Void could definitely return as a replacement for having no dual colours or whatever in terms of cards, as well as that. But I think maybe if Void doesn't come back, it wouldn't be a huge loss, but I feel like it's one of those, like not even one of the elements on the wheel of like 5 elements of colours or whatever for Force of Will, but I feel like in terms of older support for Wanderer, it would be great if Void came back, because then Machina and whatnot could get some support and everything. But I can see them maybe not having to do that, like maybe not. But in the meantime, you still have that access to that addition that basically makes all your stones play all the colours if you really want to do dual colour. As of right now, I really don't see why you would play dual colour with any of the current rulers. I guess if you really wanted to, you could. But right now, I feel like they work best as just mono colours and whatnot. I really don't think you could improve upon them by giving them suddenly a different colour to work with. Half the time, I feel like having more colours in your deck made it kind of difficult. Obviously, the only one that would really work well for colour fixing, I guess, would be Ayu, because she's a singleton deck, so therefore you need to like have a variety of colours for your cards and whatnot. Unless you have some way of like finding 60 or 40 unique cards within one colour, but even then I don't think you would be doing that. But I definitely don't think that we're going to be getting any reprints of Jewel Stones in the set, guys. Like, I know that there was some promos and whatnot from, I think it wasn't a GP, it was some kind of other tournament. There was like promo art for some of the Jewel Stones, whatever. But again, I don't think that they're really kind of going to be leaning towards them for the rest of New Hala cluster. What do you guys think in particular? Do you want the Jewel Stones to get reprinted, or are you happy with them not being in this cluster? I mean, I'd be all for them returning the cluster after this one, whether or not it happens or not. But I mean, I'd be all for that happening. I just don't feel like dual color stones have a place within New Valhalla cluster. I feel like we're kind of fine with the kind of singleton, kind of like the monocolor thing. And then also that means we don't have to worry about rarities of more stones and whatnot, because it always seems like there's always like one stone that you really want to get at least a playset of, and that's always the one that you never get a playset of. I don't know, that maybe that's just me being jinxed or whatever from my ratio luck or whatever from pulling stones and whatnot from packs. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think of this topic of discussion. Do you think we should be discussing this a little bit more? Do you want the jewel stones to return? Are you glad that they're not in this cluster thus far? Do you think that we are like heading more towards mono builds and whatnot, or do you like dual color decks and everything? I want to hear your opinions, guys. Let me know, because it helps to ignite topics of discussion for me in terms of things that you guys want to hear about, that you guys want to like discuss and talk about for this channel. So I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe, and hit the notification button on the little bell so you can get notified whenever I upload videos. And until next time, guys, I will see you all later. This video was made possible thanks to patrons such as Alucard and Craig McCutcheon.